Studios, broadcasting live from the ILTV studios located here at University Drive. Welcome once again to Freedom March. Today is Thursday, the 24th day of October in the year of our Lord 2024. My name is Rodney Monker. Bradley Roll is my spiritual advisor, and I welcome him to Freedom March.
Thank you so much. Good to be here, Senator.
Well, folks, in the nation's second city, Freeport, Bahama, scores of Negro citizens are involved in a protest over an alleged conveyance. And one of the most unfortunate situations in media is these educated people do not know land law. So today I shall teach them, as a layman from Black Village, land law, that's capital L-A-N-D-L-A-W, so that we can clear up some of this ignorance. And I also want to make it quite clear to the world that my father is a Carey, and the alleged victim, she's Ingrid Carey. So we'll look at this land dispute, because after all, you know, there's only one layman who can educate this country on land law. So I'm so honored and flattered. Please forgive me, I'm showing off today. In addition to that, just shortly before noon, a Negro man by the name of Lenwood Roll, he was killed at his business place to Ramsey Street off Cowpen Road. He would have been murdered exactly opposite where they killed a Haitian man. And according to police reports, a Negro citizen, a Negro person showed up in a dark car, opened fire on Mr. Roll, shooting him multiple times. And by the time the gunman escaped, Mr. Roll lay dead. It is a tragic, tragic situation. God save the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. When are we going to hang these murderers? I don't know. It's time to hang. When will you people agitate and tell the Parliament there shall be hanging? It's time. Mark my word, it will continue to happen until we start popping neck. Then it will be reduced. Welcome back to Freedom Match. My name is Rodney Monker. Well, there's a major controversy going on in the nation's second city over an alleged conveyance with transfer title to real estate, perhaps a house on the island of Grand Bahama, to a Negro lady who is purported to be the caregiver of the, should I call it, the vendor. So we look at it to see whether or not we can make any sense out of it in view of the fact that conveyances are stipulated by law. And in order for title to pass, there are a number of things that must be followed. Other than that, no title is passed. One of the major things that must be involved or must be in a conveyance is what the King's Council, that's the top lawyers in the country, call an habendum. If there's no habendum, no good title. In addition to that, there must be consideration. What is consideration? Consideration could be hugs, kisses, love, things, money, value, a peppercorn. There must be consideration. The vendor, the person who is conveying, must be of sound mind. And if the person has a handicap, then the lawyer or the justice of the peace must sign what the law calls an attestation clause. This comes under the Handicap Person Act. So there are criteria, and if those criteria are not followed, then title isn't passed. So we need to look at that, and I'm excited that the media is comprised of well-educated people who did not study basic law. They do not know that the basis of wealth is land. They don't know that fundamental principle. They do not understand the Real Property Act. And so I've hidden it because I'm a layman and I don't want these Negroes to know that I have an idea what the laws say. I'll give you a story over whitelist children, whitelist grandchildren who don't want mine, their ma, their pa, their grandparents. And in desperation, two things happen to their parents. One, they either send them to an old folks' home, abandon them, and enjoy the fruits of their labor, or they may get a power of attorney from their parents, and the next thing you know, all the national insurance money they're collecting and spending. In the district of New Providence, I just visited a house where mama is alleged to have what? Alzheimer's, old-timers, and or the educated Negroes call it
Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's. Mama house is stinker-pea, notwithstanding that they are collecting her national insurance. It's stinker-pea. Why? I'm going to give you a fictitious name. Ruth is refusing to buy bleach because she say Mary, another fictitious name, is collecting the national insurance. So when I go to visit them, I'm shocked to see how the house is so rank. It's stinker-pea. Because the whitelist children have subdivided their mother. And in their subdivision, they say this left breast belong to her and the right breast belong to her. And so none of them feed mama, none of them. Now mama's looking for me. So when I visit mama, she say, you see how stink my house is? I say, see how stink your house is. She said, but the children them, they collected my money and they're abandoning me. What can you do for me? I said, well, we could call social service. She said, no, I want to convey it to you. I said, no, you can't convey it to me. She said, why, Mr. Monk? I said, I'm dying. I am dying. And you cannot convey it to me because I'm dying. And then she began to weep. All right? Perhaps today I shall give you another woman who got a big, big house, but the children are wifeless. All right? They don't want to take care of mama. They want to abandon mama in an old folks' home and run away. This is some of the social problem that exists. And then when you go to social service, they so screw up, they don't want to give mama nothing to eat. So mama's open up to even more exploitation. These are some things that nobody wants to say. I got a whole mama just waiting for me, but I keep her a distance. When I get to her house, I make her cry. She said, man, when you gonna do it? I said, listen to me, I am dying. I am dying, and I'm not gonna take it. Bradley, I welcome you to Freedom March. You may now lead us in prayer so that we can examine some of these socio-economic problems.
We got a reading today from, you're going to go back to the passage in John chapter 3, very important indeed. Everybody should pay attention to this because this is crucial and critical to understanding where you at before and if you want to be in right standing afterwards. In John 3:3-5, Jesus replied, I verily, verily, I tell you, no one can see the kingdom of God unless they are born again. And how can someone be born when they're old? Nicodemus asked. Surely they cannot enter a second time into their mother's womb to be born. Jesus answered, verily, very truly I tell you, no one can enter the kingdom of God unless they are born of water and spirit. John chapter 3 and verse number 5. Verse number 5 is very important. Jesus answered, very truly I tell you, no one can enter the kingdom of God unless they are born of water and spirit. Think on such things. The word of God is extremely powerful indeed. Thank you, producer. And back to you, Sandra.
I thank you, my spiritual advisor. Well, folks, in Grand Bahama, I didn't intend it to get involved until I heard the surname. The elderly lady, her name is Ingrid Carey. My father, George Gilbert Moncur, he's a Carey. Got it? So I decided, well, since they are going to send me all kind of information, let me play family, even though I do not know Ingrid Carey, but I should play family. So what is the allegation? The allegation, it appears to me, is that the granddaughter who lived with her grandmother found a job somewhere on an island, and the grandmother was aging, perhaps feeble, perhaps having psychological problems, and therefore she has somehow gotten her in an old folks' home. Granddaughter, having then returned to Grand Bahama, discovered that the caretaker from the old folks' home was no longer sleeping at the old folks' home. Mama was sleeping there, and the caretaker was in Mama's bed, occupying Mama's house, which is alleged to be better than the caretaker's house. I shall show you what is going on here. So the allegation goes on that Ingrid Carey is alleged to have conveyed her home to Mavi, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Mavi, what's Mavi's surname is? I had her surname in my head, but for some reason I have forgotten it. But we'll call her Mavi. That's her first name. And so granddaughter is shocked that Mavi, the caretaker, is occupying the home. So she perhaps started to row, perhaps. But the new owner, Sister Mavi, she called the police, and having established that she's the new owner, Perhaps the police told the granddaughter you had to leave. Well, there is a protest taking place in Bahama. So it's been very exciting that people have come forward and so forth. Now, if Miss Carey is suffering from Alzheimer's or old-timers or Alzheimer's, if she is losing her head, is there any medical evidence of this? Has she been taken to a doctor? Or can the family honestly find witnesses who can testify that Miss Carey was losing her mind? If there are medical evidence of that, then no matter what conveyance that she may have executed in favor of her caregiver, once you take out an action in the Supreme Court and you produce that evidence, a judge of the Supreme Court will set aside that conveyance. And it would be treated as if Mrs. Carey never conveyed to her caregiver. So we're establishing that fact. If Miss Carey is half blind, suppose she has cataract or the other eye disease, the Dr. Michael Dowell is committed to fighting glaucoma. She then becomes a person who is covered by the Handicap Protection Act. It is a provision of the law that says that that conveyance must be read to her, must be explained to her, and the person who's doing it must either be an attorney at law or justice of the peace who is covered by the Handicap Person Act, and he must sign what is called an attestation clause, explaining that on such and such a day, Ingrid Carey appeared before him, who either had cataract, who either had glaucoma, who hardly couldn't see, who perhaps can't read, who perhaps can't write, is illiterate, and therefore he explained to her the content of the conveyance, and he being satisfied that she understood, he then witnessed her executed that conveyance. That is the only way the title can be passed. And then, of course, I take note in my capacity as one of the king's leading justices of the peace that many of the lawyers, having done that, do not go a step further, which is required for them to now swear an affidavit that on such and such a date, Ingrid Carey appeared before them. They explain, they sign the attestation clause, and an affidavit is therefore attached. But many of these lawyers, they don't practice it. I suspect they might be ignorant of that provision of the law, because land law is very complex in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And I say that as a learned justice of the peace, as a learned layman. I'm laughing at these Negroes. Okay? So that is what would be required. Now, there are new rules. If, for instance, I were to sell to you a piece of property, you are required to pay stamp taxes. You are required to register that land with Inland Revenue so that, one, they can attach a specific identification number to that new conveyance, which shall follow that title forever and ever until Jesus comes. So if I'm selling Lot 2 in Black Village and it has never been submitted to Inland Revenue, you have to go to their complex portal, download it, they look at it, they assign a number, they tell you if there's any real property tax. If there is, you're required to pay. If there's none, they stamp pointing out that there's none. Then you pay whatever stamp tax based on the value of the land. That is what has happened. Now, Ingrid is the husband of the late Philip Carey. If I understood it correctly, on the 30th of this month, Mr. Carey would have been dead a year. So there is no evidence that his estate has been probated. I'm raising that on the basis that Mr. Carey might be the sole owner of the house. Or if him and Mrs. Carey owned it as joint tenant, then the law say survivor takes all. And since we know that Mr. Carey has been dead from October of 2023, if it was in both of their names as joint tenant, then Miss Carey owned it outright and could lawfully get rid of it. Now, if I'm your care provider, it exists now, and I'm going to use a big word that I heard the lawyers use. If you ask me to explain it, I can't give you the definition, but I know I'm saying it correctly. The lawyers talk about this word is so big, it is so heavy, I can hardly remember it. But they talk about a fiduciary relationship. So if you and I are cool, and if you come to live with me, I'll give you an example. I have a son, and I argue with him. He and I own a piece of land together, and every time I feel like I say, listen, sign right here, and he just signed. And then after he signed, I say, boy, why you sign without reading or without consulting? He said, I signed because you're my daddy. I said, but your daddy could thief. Got it? But if I steal from him, the law will protect him, because there exists a relationship where, as his father, he can show that he only signed because it's me, and he know that daddies ain't supposed to take from their children, even though we steal from them and they steal from us. But there's a fiduciary relationship. So I attempt to do a crash search to see if there is any evidence of Miss Carey's alleged conveyance being lodged for record. There is no evidence that a purported conveyance from Miss Carey has been lodged for record. There is no evidence that the estate of her late husband, Philip Carey, has been done. It's education that is needed. This is a freedom march. When I return, if I'm still in the show-off mood, I'll continue to talk about this law. God save all people. God save all people who have been abandoned by a bunch of weightless, no-good children. And now they're concerned that we are about to give it out to the strangers. You better come home and mind mama. Welcome back to Freedom Match. My name is Rodney Monker. I'm a Justice of the Peace here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. I'm also a member of the Holy Roman Catholic Church. Bradley Roll is my spiritual advisor. He belongs to the first century church.
Get it right. Get it right.
Is it
Yeah, that's the first century church.
in the first century?
We were before the Catholic Church.
Okay. And in the first century, how did you treat your parents?
The Bible teaches us that we are to honor our fathers and our mothers. Oh, turn the mic on? Oh, forgive me.
Yeah.
Right. We are to honor our parents in everything that we do, especially in our care for them. But I can tell you, this is a very interesting story because I have a case where I have personally experienced this art of deception. And what I find to be interesting, which is so disgusting.
Now, when we talk about art of perception,
Deception.
I want to introduce you to the art of betrayal.
Okay. So
Are you referring, in this case, we're talking about family structure.
yeah.
Okay.
So we have a father, John Doe, who was diagnosed with dementia in May of 2021. And then in November of 2023, a power of attorney shows up,
Okay.
2 years after being diagnosed.
Well, that can't stand in law.
I'm just telling you, it happens.
Yes, I'm going to give you a better example
But
than
why
that.
do lawyers, though? Lawyers actually have these documents typed up, stamped, and sealed by their law firms.
Let's be fair with the lawyer.
And they sign
If
them.
you
They
bring-
sign these things.
If a person bring his father to me, and I say to his father, "What is your name?" And he say, "My name is Jeremiah Roll." And I say, "How old are you?" He answers that. And I said, "What is today's date?" And he answered that correctly. And I am of the opinion, this man is sober. He's sane.
Okay.
He doesn't have Alzheimer. Then you really can't blame me. But because I am not only a justice of the peace, I'm a Negro justice of the peace. Depending on the age of the citizen that you bring for me, I tell children, take him to the doctor, tell the doctor,
Yeah,
write
of course, of course. That's the point.
Yeah.
The person has to be examined by a medical doctor to be of legally sound
Well, I'll
mind.
give you a case in a second. You pay bills, and then we look
Yeah.
at the skullduggery of people not following the law.
Okay, let's go. Abaco, it's been 5 long years. Bahamas, are you ready? In celebration of the 5 years that we've strived and thrilled since Dorian, Royalty Sounds proudly presents Reggae in Paradise, the return of Chalupa City featuring Mr. Singy Sing, Tyrus Riley and friends. It's all going down at the Royal Recreational Grounds Thanksgiving weekend, November 30th. Gates open at 8 p.m. Entertainment by DJ KC242, DJ Monk, DJ Hype, DJ Unruly, Jiggy Fire, Pressure, and the Mighty Pencil. Early bird tickets available until November 4th. VIP $475 and Platinum for $150. Regular tickets are VIP $100 and Platinum $175. Tables and skyboxes are available. Tickets available at KNS Auto and GNF Ferries and Mile Harbor, or you can call 367-2655. For online tickets, go to Instagram sounds.royalty for more information. Multi-Discount is a store located on Royal Avenue offering a wide range of home goods and appliances. Affordable prices. They cater to various styles for simple to sophisticated, making them a great option for new and old parents or anyone looking to refresh up, for anyone looking to freshen up their home. Everybody needs money always. I'm sorry about that. I shouldn't have read it that way. Send money internationally and locally through Western Union with MoneyMax. Download the MoneyMax app today to send cash instantly to a family member or friend anytime and anywhere. Sending money has never been simpler. The app is available on the Apple Store and Google Play Store. MoneyMax. Live your max life. Thank you, producer. Back to you, Sandra.
I thank you, my spiritual advisor. Well, folks, it appears that this is going to preoccupy us. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to Freeport so you can see one of the latest video coming out of Freeport as people are agitating. Can I see a video on this skullduggery in Grand Bahama?
And that so-called psychiatrist need to be find out who it is. All right, but my thing is, even if you did it, if you meant well, exactly. This compound is not as beautiful as that woman's house. I've been there. Okay. Why did you move in with the woman? Take care of her in her own familiar and she would not to be using bathrooms that everybody else uses. Sleeping in her own bed. All right. If you mean well, you're gonna move in and take care of this woman on her property.
Her job is to restore, right?
No,
that's restoration.
Garbage. Give the woman back her stuff.
Exactly.
The insurance company need to reverse that
Right
insurance
away.
assignment. The pension need to be returned.
Every dollar.
So you see what is taking in Grand Bahama. Here in Nassau, I have many cases. I have a big one in Andres, and I've only been able to keep Andres away because when Andres called, I tell Andres, I really want to do the thing for you, but I'm dying. Andres is upset with the children, and praise the Lord, she could only turn to people who are saved. The only people who's loving her, who's caring for her, are members of her Christian denomination. So she now wants to give responsibility for her funeral services to the church. She wants to give the church the big house. Now, why is that happening? That is happening because the children ain't got no manners. They don't want help. They don't want clean house. They don't want to cook for mama. And mama hardly could move. So mama plans to come to Nassau. I asked mama, who's your MP? Who is your MP in Andres? Watch out for me. And then she told me who's her MP. I said, don't you think you should talk to him? Say, no, I ain't talking to my MP. Him and my chair and them tight. He ain't gonna understand what I said. Mr. Monk, I trust you. I come into Nassau. I want you to show me how to tear up this big will I got and give my house to the church. The church can bury me. I have a Christian burial. And they have already assured me that they can put me on top of my husband. I said, you really want to go up on top of him? She said, yes. These are real stories because the children, them, they don't want to take care of the ma. And so no matter what mama did for them, they won't put mama in the geriatric hospital and don't come to visit her. They won't put them in an old folks home and they ain't checking because they ain't want to clean no nanny. They ain't want to mop the house. The house rank. Okay? And I can show you how to know if you're weightless. So I'll give you an example to determine, am I a weightless child? If my mother and my father, or both of my parents, or one of my parents, occupies a house, and when I visit them, I can smell the pee from I enter the front room. So all along the front room, it's rank. As I go into the bathroom, it's rank. Into the bedroom, it's rank. All the blanket them pee up. It means you are weightless. Because there's no reason why we as the children can't get together, buy bleach and detergent and whatever, and either go to the wash house or put it in the number 3 tub. So I'm old. See, at my age now, I'm old. So every morning I need to have that blanket put in the number 3 tub. But if the children don't want to do it, what do you expect for me to do? So this is one of the problems that we are faced with. And then the children them get mad. Oh, you come and you take my ma place. Oh, you come and you take my daddy place. But are you guarding your parents in an honorable way? So Andres, notwithstanding that Andres got one of the biggest MP, Andres tell me, they come in to see me, they call me right here on the TV show. And I start talking in parable so that people wouldn't know what that woman is saying to me. You hear me? Because children, they're ungrateful. They love the parents. If you love your parents after all your ma did for you. The fellow tell me, he still got mama in. So I said, what you have her in? He said, mama, one day mama give me one TV blow. Yeah, mama shouldn't have strike you in your back. But you mean to tell me 35 years ago she strike you in your back and you still talking nonsense? Huh? It's voices and the woman who tell me how her brothers say she's prepared. So I said, not now at this age. She said, no, we was like small baby children. So I have him in. I said, you mean to tell me you're small baby children? You were paying the bed, he threw it in your face, and you still have him in? 35 years later, woman, you're not saved. And if I was to pass that Baptist church and see you, I may give a testimony. So there lies some of our problems. Here in Nassau, we have one of the best friends of Hubert Ingram. Show me Aaron Knowles, who's blind. And Aaron Knowles had a case against the government. Aaron Knowles' lawyers ignore the fact that Aaron Knowles is blind. And they signed more paper and then went to court and tell the court, is Aaron's signature not a poor blind man? He got nobody to case for him. So these are some of the things that happen in the country where nobody want to respect the law, where nobody want to love one another. So there are protection in the law. If a person is illiterate, if a person is handicapped, and lawyers and JPs must be smart that when old people come to them, you say to the family, take him to the doctor. I want a letter from the doctor telling me that this person is sane and can execute a conveyance and or a will. Or you do what I did. The woman tell me the children then was no good. I said, really, they were no good? She said, yeah, they're trying to do everything. So I got all the children to witness the will. You heard me? She said, they witnessed in the will. I said, yeah.
And they can't inherit.
What say it again?
They want me, you get them to do that?
You know who I am?
No, man, you can't do that, Santa.
What you mean I can't do it?
If
you bring some weightless children to me.
No, man.
You bring some weightless children.
Oh, no, but you can't do that.
I didn't trick anybody. If
Santa,
my spiritual
if you
advisor,
witness a will, you cannot be one who's going to benefit from that
is true.
will.
That's the law. Yeah. But they wanted to witnesses. They wasn't taking any chance. I said, y'all really want witnesses in the mouth? Sign it? They said, yeah. I said, well, come then. Come with your weightless self. Come with your no good self. You inherit, right? But you ain't want to cook. Huh? Your mom need to go to the hospital at 4 a.m. in the morning, but you don't want to carry her. But you want to make sure mama sign it. You want to make sure, hey? I said, okay then. You better make sure. And by the time, mama ain't dead yet. And then she died. Then she died. They will never inherit because the law say if you are a beneficiary under a will and you witness it, it is presumed that you use pressure with their no good self.
Oh, God.
All right? They should go home and just love their mother.
Wow.
And mop. And buy bleach. and Dettol. And clean up the house. And every morning when mama wake up, you change her blanket. You put it in the bucket of water. You might be like me. I ain't got no washing machine. So every time I wake up, I throw the blanket in the bucket, soak it with a little detergent and a little disinfectant, and then I say, boy, come help me throw this on the line. And by the time I leave the show, the blanket is nice and fresh. So there lies a lot of the problem. And now in Abaco, in Bahama, they send for social service. Social service? Who do want to give to all people anything? Huh? Do you know what I did this morning? Watch out for me. The minister responsible for social service is halfway around the world. And I woke him up. When I woke him up around 8:30, where he was like 1 a.m. in the morning. And he forget he was around on the other side of the world. He said, Mom, Monica, why you wake me up so early? I said, what time you think it is? It was 1 a.m. I say, not Nassau, where the hell you is? You hear me? I woke up Miles LaRoda at 1 a.m. Because when that woman wake me up this morning and told me how she's crippled, how she can't get to the Princess Margaret Hospital, how when she called the ambulance nobody wouldn't come, and how them screw in her leg hurting her, and all they're doing is putting aside the appointment at the orthopedic ward. I called Miles LaRoda because I thought he was still in Yamakra, only for him to be halfway around the world, went away and he didn't tell me. So I said to him, Minister, before you go back to sleep, I need you to call that woman and tell that woman you can find somebody to come pick her up and take her to the Princess Margaret Hospital. So I'm running on because we know in this society there are many senior citizens who have been neglected by grandchildren, by children. They're only concerned, in some cases, they can't wait for you to die. All right? And I can understand it. Because when my mother died, and I went into her house, I can believe all of them dressed. I was in charge of them. Because I was her executor. When they take that more dress, I said, Jesus, I wish I could wear some of these. That's the point I'm making. Bunch of no good children. Don't play their role. Don't go to the hospital to visit their parents. Don't go to Sandilands. And I used to work to Sandilands. I worked between the Sandilands Rehabilitation Center and the Geriatric Hospital. And I could call them. Because when I went there, I just turned 19. And I was always curious. All right? And I can tell you about thousands of people who abandoned their parents, didn't check for them. Notwithstanding all the good things your parents did for you, you still talking nonsense about how mama hit you in your back, and you could never forget that. 35 years ago, you still talking nonsense about that. All right? Anyway, Mr. Spiritual Advisor, please forgive me.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting.
So there is no evidence that Philip Carey's estate has been probated. And when you submit documents to Inland Revenue, you know how long they take? Do you know how long they take? Take it from me. I just have to go up there and row and then be embarrassed by the judge when the judge passed me his card. Because I rowed. They don't want to take lawful money from me. The law say legal tender is also Bahamian dollars. They tell me I need a card. What do I need a card for? Huh? Why you think I don't go to Commonwealth Bank? They sent for me. I ain't going because I don't want to come here and case out Canada. Because every time, I don't know how Commonwealth Bank is let the Canadians know what my bank account number is. All them people do in Canada is thief my couple of dollars and buy beer. And that's a fact. And I wouldn't mind if they were buying collect. See, if you're going to thief my card in Canada and you can buy beer, buy collect. All right? So these are some of the things that happens in our country. Now let me calm down, because, you know, I'm a sick man, and I got to get my soul right. All right?
You better.
But these are some of the things that are happening. My spiritual advisor, you may have some comments.
No, man, no. Let's move on. I think that, well, in here, the law protects everyone, supposedly, against these things that happen. But my biggest problem is not the way people do things, you know, and that too is an issue. Yeah, the way people do things at times. But my biggest issue is these lawyers, man. These lawyers who know the law. They need to stop it.
Well, you have to show that the lawyer was complicit. If you show up with your ma and your pa, there's a reasonable presumption that you're being honorable. Now,
what happens if you don't take the ma and the pa?
Well, I'm certain that a lawyer would know that he should not be notarizing any signature if the person didn't sign in his presence.
Let me give you an example here. Listen to this very carefully now. John Doe dies. leaves a wife, children, no will. What is the law?
Half for the wife and the other half for the children.
When? When do they get that? As soon as he died? Or his estate has to be probated?
His estate has to be probated.
Okay. So the lawyer made up a power of attorney stating that the wife already owned the stuff. But her name is not on any of the documents.
Well, let me try to be fair to the lawyer.
He made up a power of attorney. He said, listen, this woman, she already owned these things.
No. Let's hold on for a second. I don't like the fact that you're saying that he made up a power of attorney.
You don't see it?
No,
I could bring it.
I don't say that. I want to explain something to you.
Okay.
If a man dies intestate, meaning without a will,
What's the law?
his wife becomes the administratrix, and by virtue of that, theoretically, title from his estate passes to her. All of this, however, is subject to her applying for yeah, but she has a right to seize his asset, protect his land
At what point?
immediately upon his death.
Right. So it
Right?
means that she automatically owns it.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
I said the title is vested in her.
Yeah, and the title also invested in the children as well.
No, no title is vested in the children.
So he dies out of the will.
Yeah.
Based on the law, 50% of his estate goes to his wife, and the other 50% is shared equally among the
Once
children.
there is distribution.
Right. Now, what has to happen, though, is the wife has to apply for what is called letters of administration.
Yes.
And that would then give her the power to probate his estate, because the estate has to be probated. It has to be probated. Right or wrong?
The probation is what you're now calling letters of administration because there's no will.
Right. But she has to go to the court to apply for that.
Yes, but
Okay.
that doesn't cease her power. She still is responsible for the protection of his estate.
Well, of course, we understand that.
Right.
We understand that.
Yeah. So that's it.
But why does this lawyer make up what is called a power of attorney that says she owns all the property?
Not he made up a power of attorney in whose favor?
In favor of one of the children,
And who is the power of attorney purported to be coming from?
the wife.
Yeah, well, that was bogus. It is a dumb lawyer. He ought to find.
How you can call a lawyer dumb and
My spiritual advisor.
the lawyer put his stamp in it.
That
and the
doesn't mean
seal.
he isn't dumb. We have a lot of dumb professionals in the country, you know. Okay, you want me to refer to a case where the Chief Justice whale one backside?
I am going to, personally, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Can I file a complaint against the lawyer?
Because
I have a vested interest in this estate.
No, the estate, from my understanding, has not been compromised because the administrator has not been appointed by
Okay.
any judge of the Supreme Court
Okay.
to execute
So I can't
any
complain
conveyance.
against her?
Just encourage
Man, he gave them this thing.
my spiritual advisor. No, I'm gonna have to go off in a second.
Okay, I don't want you going to a trance. Let's
May I?
No, let's
Okay,
let's
so
move on.
just
let's leave that.
yes, please do. Okay.
But it's bogus. It's
Yeah.
bogus. That's a bogus power of attorney.
Yes, my spiritual advisor. If I don't own anything, and I purport to give
How
you,
could he give you power of attorney over somebody don't own?
there is a man who hailed from Eleuthera. I don't want to call his name because his
You don't have
nephew,
to. You just use an example. That's
his
all.
nephew is watching me. I'm not going to call your uncle name. Do you know what his uncle sold?
What he saw?
Windsor Park.
How he did that?
How you mean how he did it? And do you know there was a stupid person who purchased Windsor Park? And every time I get on Windsor Park, I stamp Windsor Park so I can send a message to them that this belongs to the state. But that man sold Windsor Park. All right?
How was he able to get title?
He couldn't get title.
Oh.
Because we continue to hold possession. Right? But he sold Windsor Park. That same Windsor Park.
The person paid for it?
I said, you sold it? Right? Windsor Park
Talking
is
fool,
sold.
man.
You call it fool. And every time I get on Windsor Park, I start rowing. And my friends said, no, understand. I said, listen, I want his son to know they don't own Windsor Park. Nobody can stop me from going on Windsor Park. Because it's the people's
Yes,
park.
absolutely.
And it's named after Charles Windsor,
Okay.
King of the Bahamas. It's powerful. God save the king. Anyway, I think I had fun, but I want to repeat again. One, a check shows that there is no title on record. That doesn't mean that something has not been executed. There is no title on record. God said the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. God said members of the media, may they sit down and learn some basic law. Other than that, come to Black Village. Let me educate you, Negro media. God save the king. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Freedom March. My name is Rodney Monka, and of course, I have in studio a special guest. It is the Minister responsible for National Security, the Honorable Wayne Monroe. Mr. Monroe, welcome to Freedom March.
Thank you, Brother Monka.
And today we are going to discuss a proposed bill which has begun being debated in Parliament.
No, it's not a bill. It's an action.
It's already an act?
It's an action.
It's an action.
Yeah.
The minister is going to explain that for me.
Yeah.
He will explain what we call a clear holding, or should I say clear holding or clear hold bill. Moments ago I played the law. Well, the real lawyer is here now, so I shall do the honorable thing and invite the minister to kindly start this segment by explaining what is this clear hold bill, Minister?
Well, Brother Monka, you would have heard that I would have, and then subsequently the Prime Minister
Yes.
would have set out the government's 5-point crime plan: prevention, policing, prosecution, punishment, and rehabilitation.
Yes.
Well, this is the policing plan, which is clear hold build.
Yes.
It is something that has been deployed in a number of other countries with great success, and we're looking at tailoring it to our circumstance. You know, you don't reinvent the wheel, eh?
That is true.
You may make it smaller, you make it wider, you may make it, 15 inches, 17 inches, fat or skinny.
Yes.
So the whole concept is that the Commissioner of Police at a press conference at OPM put it in a nice way, and you'll like this. He says, you hear them here about hot spots, right?
Hot spots, yes.
So there are no hot spots. There are hot people
Wow.
living amongst decent people.
Wow. Hot people living among decent people.
Remember when Black Village had a bad reputation?
I do remember.
Was that a hot spot, or did y'all have a couple of hot people living amongst you?
There were two types of hot people living among us.
Keeping the spirit.
I shall. Yes.
Keeping the spirit.
I will
We're talking about the criminal element.
Yes.
All right. And so the issue really is you have these people there bringing down a community.
Yes.
So now the object is to restore the community to what it used to be, hand it back to the persons who live there, and that's it. The strategy is first you clear. So if you go to Angliston now, you see intensified police patrols.
Yes.
They deploy their drones to weed out the bad actors. And then the hold is you've done that. Now you have to make sure it doesn't come back. So they're moving derelict cars where people hide, guns, drugs. They're going to be demolishing derelict homes where people may do untoward things, hide gun and drugs. And they said something interesting in a meeting today. They cleared an area of Montel Heights next to a school where they found a bunch of mattress, where the little children used to be doing funny things.
Really?
Yes. And so you clear that all the way. And then while you're holding it and building on it, you fix the roads, put in lights, you give job opportunities, you do like your program that you ran in Freetown.
Yes.
Teaching persons how to take advantage of entrepreneurial activity.
Yes.
We have to call upon you to bring this to Angliston, eh?
I can't wait to get to Angliston.
Yeah, and in fact, I think you had said Angliston was next anyway.
Angliston was the first one on my list.
So that's the whole concept. So now they're clearing away the derelict circumstances. At the same time, we'll be seeking to hold it by keeping them out and building on it. So there is, for instance, a town hall meeting for Montel Heights.
Okay.
Let me get the name of the church for you.
Montel Heights.
Pentecostal Church Deliverance Center. That's Bishop Dean M. Wells' church.
Okay.
It'll be next Tuesday from 6 to 8.
Next Tuesday is which date?
Hold on, let me get it for you. So fast pace, I don't want to say the wrong date.
Yes.
29th.
The 29th of October.
October.
Okay. And this is in the evening?
In the evening.
Like about what time?
6 p.m.
6 p.m., Minister.
until 8 p.m. And this is really for the persons of Montel Heights. We're going to be also having a town hall meeting in Ridgeland Park West, which is a part of it.
Okay.
And then Angliston proper.
Okay.
And the purpose of these town hall meetings is having cleared it, having held on to it, now we have to build. And you should really not build without feedback from the community.
That is true.
Because if you don't build as the community wants, then
Right.
they're not going to buy into it, they're not going to keep it.
Okay.
So for instance, we clear abandoned lots. What do you do on it?
Okay.
If you leave it, the grass can grow again, eh?
Yes.
So you might build a house on it.
Yes.
You might have a community farm
Yes.
where you put some chickens for eggs, whatever it is
Yes.
you might do, but it's what the community wants.
To utilize that new vacancy.
And how they want their community to look. So for instance, we have the constant, to get a speed bump, you have to find out whether everyone through the corner wants it. So,
Okay.
so that type of thing.
Okay.
I remember Honorable Lady Hannah told me a joke that they bragged about putting street lights up in the inner city, and people tell them they put lights in their bedroom.
Wow.
Because you know how a house was done, eh?
Of course,
The little
of course.
small one-room house,
Yes.
the porch, the babies keep growing in the house, but nobody see mommy and daddy getting up to anything because you don't look out on the porch.
Right.
Well, when you put the light in, everybody can see what's happening.
Everybody
on the
can see
porch.
what's happening. Yes.
So it's so that you build back as the community wants and not as you think it should be.
Okay. Has this plan started yet?
Monday.
Monday gone or Monday coming?
Monday gone.
And where would you say in Montel Heights? Because as you're talking about Montel Heights, I can see her. Now, I'm looking through Bow Alley. And through Bow Alley, just on the southern side, is a mountain of derelict vehicle. You think they get to that yet?
Well, I can put it this way.
Or would you like to add that?
Now, this is vehicles that were removed
Okay.
previously,
Okay.
and they're in there moving vehicles again.
Okay. Do you think you can get them?
But Monica, if there's a derelict car, you can count on it.
There's a
being moved.
mountain minister of derelict vehicles.
Well, it won't only be reduced to a molehill.
Okay.
It will be carried away because that's what's the first word here?
Go ahead.
Clear.
Clear.
So we got to clear that.
This got plenty vehicles to clear.
So we got to clear it.
Minister, it got plenty vehicles to clear, and it is creating a crisis.
But Monica,
A crisis that can lead to violence.
But Monica, the task is to clear. I'm just, for instance,
Yes.
this is what Brother Bell and Urban Renewal did last time.
Now, Brother Bell is the minister?
Yes.
Okay.
Keith Bell, the
Okay.
Honorable Keith Bell.
Yes.
77 vehicles moved this batch.
This in Montel Heights.
First March.
This in Montel Heights?
Yes.
Okay. Mes amis,
This is in Angliston, sorry.
ma bespe nou pou ale la terre, Monsieur Martin, and compte tout machine yo pou moi, and le ou gen, rele manke konya. I just told my brother to go across the road, count them guys, and quickly call me back, Minister, because I had a Negro man who came to see me, and he had blood in his eye. And if you could move those vehicles, you perhaps shall reduce the level of potential crime.
And that's the aim. So, for instance, here, I think they're saying you have 232.
Wow, there's many cars.
Yes.
Now, what are you going to do with the old septic rejected tank on Bow Alley? Are they still there?
But Monica, I'm not operational on the ground.
Okay, so
The police are
I
there.
got to visit it tomorrow.
Sounds
See,
good.
if I knew you was going to discuss Montel Heights, I would have gone into Montel Heights because my ma got a bunch of family living through Bow.
and to tell them
Yeah.
that they need to come to the town hall.
To town,
The,
yes.
the purpose is to clear the derelict vehicles.
Listen, it's horrible, Chuck Connor.
Clear the overground
It's
lots.
horrible, Minister.
Clear the garbage.
It is a national disgrace that we have allowed that area to deteriorate like that.
Well, Brother Monica, you will hear hopefully very soon the story of in clearing.
Goodness me.
We found a gentleman
Yes, Minister.
living in a car.
Yes.
I think he's like 68, a retiree.
That's my age.
You that old now?
I'm really 68 if I could make it to the end of November.
Oh, well, I hear thought that on the weekend they tell me you was dead, man.
Well, praise the Lord.
Caused me shed a tear.
Listen to me. I had so many people crying. I looked at them, you know, and I said to myself, you know, being dead ain't too bad, you know.
Yeah?
Man,
How did it
the
feel?
sympathies, you know.
Oh, make you feel good.
Yeah, I did. Nobody said anything badly.
No,
You know.
give it time. you give it time, Brother Monica.
Yes.
After about 2-3 days,
Yeah.
then you'll have people when your funeral,
Jesus.
they'll come look at your coffin, then you let them walk aside. And I just wanted to know that he was dead. I had to come see for myself.
They may cost me to hide them. That's what they cost me to do.
Yeah, but Brother Monica, the whole
Yes, go ahead,
concept
sir.
that you're speaking to is this environment that you're talking
Yes.
about. It's not good for the people's psyche.
Yes.
And so in clearing, what we hope to do is to improve the environment, improve the psyche, remove the opportunities for people to hide stuff.
Yes.
If you have overgrown bushes, you have
Yes.
places where people drag people to
Yes.
do bad things.
Yes.
So that's the purpose.
Yes.
And then demolish the houses they're using to hide their guns, their drugs in. And so that's the purpose of the clear. And then to build back, the community has to tell us what they want to see.
Now, you, Minister, you would realize that previous PLP administration has done this, where they entered the community, cleaned it up, but was not able to maintain,
To hold it.
to hold it.
Well, that's
How
what
are
hear.
we going to hold it when there is no legislation that perhaps empower the Royal Bahamas Police Force? If it comes to my property, see that I have a number of derelict vehicle parked in the front, they seems to lack the capacity to say to me, Monica, you have 7 days to move these cars. Other than that, we're going to cite you. We're going to give you a ticket. And that the police would take on powers almost similar to the local sanitation inspectors. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Because we have invested millions of dollars in moving vehicles only for them to return.
And so that's going to be the issue of holding. Brother Monica.
How are we going to
You
hold
have
it?
environmental health services who will say they determine that it's derelict.
Yes.
Now, all of us know what happened, right?
Yes.
Because I remember driving around with you looking for a part for your taxi once.
Yes.
So your taxi is parked there, you need one part.
Yes.
I say it's derelict. You can say it ain't derelict. There's a point at which it will become derelict, and there's a point at which you can reasonably say, I can still repair this.
Right.
So you don't want to be destructive of people's property
when you
necessarily,
take into
but at the same time, you do not want them there to be to house vectors, rats, that type of thing, and to house guns and all of that.
And
so we will be clearing.
one man having 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 derelict vehicles. I mean, I can show you some in many parts of the island.
Monica, I can see it from this.
Yes.
And so you clear it. If you sit down and you say, for instance, there was a time, boy, when I was a sinful fella, I used to womanize, so
Right.
can I ever stop?
Oh, hallelujah.
So the bottom line is the effort that we're making now, what we are focusing on is telling people, remember when the Prime Minister says all of government,
Yes.
all of society?
Yes.
Well, don't forget the all of society part.
Right.
If you all let somebody come and pollute your neighborhood again, it haven't been cleaned and cleared, that would be on you all. What we will do to assist is where we find a lot of the dumping,
Yes.
is the vacant lot.
Yes.
So of course, once you clear it, if you don't do something about it, bush grow up again, people start dumping again. That's why the build component is there, so that you don't give people an opportunity to have to do that. Now, if you have 2, 3 cars, right? If they are in your yard, the question is going to be, how can I determine that you can't keep them there?
Well, there are
If
ways
the-
by
if-
which you can determine.
Well, what I would say is this. The one thing people say, when I now sit in this seat, right?
Yes.
I made a lot of money suing the Bahama's government, right?
Yes.
And you used to call me to sue them a lot of times,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yes.
So the starting point is, if you want to compulsorily acquire my property, you got to pay me.
Yes.
If I say, that's my car, I have it there, I can get parts of it, it's in my yard. If you say, okay, Monroe, it harbors vectors. I put down rat bait. What's your problem with me? That's my property. If it's in the road, that's a difference. If it's in somebody else's abandoned yard, that's a difference. So you have to moderate what you do. Now, if somebody has a roadside garage where they shouldn't have one, then that's controllable by environmental health services.
But that don't work. I'm saying to you, in this new revolutionary strategy, there has to be a means by which, when the authorities come in and see clear evidence of neglect, that can be dealt with swiftly. We know that if you come to my property and you open up my hood, I ain't got no engine there. The tire gone. You know that is what? A form of vandalism? I'm looking for a
And
big word.
is it your property, and is it on your property?
Even if it's on my property, I'm talking specifically on my property because I maintain that the ownership of property doesn't mean that I can keep junks there forever. There must be a reasonable time where the authorities could say, okay, so you say you're fixing this car, well, we're giving you 2 months to fix the car. But it can't be there forever, because that has fundamentally been a problem on both. You see, you choose a topic that I'm quite familiar with, because I went there to stop one man from killing one man over the property. Mm-hmm. And when I drew it to the political leadership, they were intimidated because they were concerned about losing vote. And I was concerned about losing life. You heard me? So I'm quite familiar with that. My man got a bunch of Adley descendants living through Bowes Alley.
So your proposition is the government should be able to tell you the condition in which you have to keep your property, even if it's on your property.
Yes, me having 3, 4, and 5 cars in my yard for 6 months, a year, next year, the year after that, and my defense is I repairing it. Come on, at some point, you have to say to the person, this car has been here too long. You can't fix it. You better sell it.
What if the person says, I just want it there?
I just want it there.
Yeah.
Well, wanting it there is a good thing, but it can't be to the detriment of the community.
And so, as I say, Brother Monka, if it harbors vectors, then of course you would be able to deal with it.
Well, yeah.
At the moment,
Monroe has got plenty vector.
yeah, at the moment,
Yes.
the persons have no great issue, because where are most of these derelict cars? On the side of the road, right?
Yeah, but there's a yard there, which is full of car.
Is it a roadside garage?
I ain't sure what the heck they doing there.
Brother Monka, in every community.
Minister, if they got 100, if they ain't got more than 100,
So that's a roadside garage, and that is an offense unless you have you're licensed to be a garage. So
Okay.
that's different.
okay.
So that is in fact different, and urban renewal is dealing with that where they find it, because you're not supposed to have these roadside garages.
Okay.
Now people may say all kinds of things about, oh, somebody is doing here, there, everywhere. That may well be so. What we're doing in Angliston and we're sending in people to study afterwards, is how does this affect crime in an area?
Yes.
When you clear out the bad influences, when you then step in to help build a community, we're going to be having a job fair for the young men. We're going to be getting a listing of all the jobs available. We're going to be finding out from them what your skills are, what do you need assistance in doing to get a job. And so we're moving forward ever in what we're doing.
This is powerful.
We understand, because you learn from history, right?
Right.
You learn from mistakes so you don't repeat them. So what we don't intend to do is clear and go.
Okay. So, Minister, are we then going to identify these roadsides mechanic shop, these yard sides mechanic shop, and are we going to say to them, listen, while we're going to move you, in Gladstone Road, the government has set aside X amount of acres of land for you to move your garage,
Operation?
your operation.
Well,
Are we going to see? While I want Mountain Heights to be clean, I also want you to be in a position to say to the mechanic who is attempting or appears to be making an honest living, while we are moving you, you can apply here to get 1 acre or 2.5 acres, somebody said in Gladstone Road, to open up your shop.
And that was an approach that happened in Fox Hill.
Okay.
So understand, things are happening all over. There's a concentrated effort in Montel Heights. That solution that you spoke about,
Yes.
that was offered when somebody put that forward in Fox Hill.
Okay. Well, I'm saying that the government should go with the full package. I'm saying that there might be small business persons who are not regulated, who might be intimidated, who may not even thought about an idea of saying, well, Minister, you're making me move. I don't have any alternative place. So I'm saying, let's go with a full package.
Yeah, when the police are encountering people,
Yes.
it's to discuss with them what is the situation.
Okay.
So the first thing is, what are all these cars doing here?
Yes.
We need to move them.
Yes.
If you say, well, I'm fixing that one for my auntie, that one for my sister, that one for my Grammy, you know you're supposed to have no store there, any garage here,
Right.
and then there will be conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you also have to take into consideration that in many of these side road garage, the earth is being contaminated because some people, they just open up and let all of the oil
Yeah.
filter on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So the environmental impact of it, it's an urgent strategy, but you overall believe that it will help in the fight of crime.
That's the plan.
Now, do you have BPL involved simultaneously?
Yes.
Because I know that the leading member of the Nailers Club is no longer at BPL.
Say what?
And I was wondering, I was wondering, is BPL a part of the strategy? Because there are areas of Mountain Heights that does not have any street light.
That's already been borne to our attention. Let me explain to you how it works, but all of government means,
Yeah.
on the Gang and Crime Task Force, is co-chaired by myself
Okay.
and the Minister of Education.
Okay.
Because, you know, education is key. Knowledge is
Yeah.
power.
Hold on,
And
Minister.
many other ministers.
You might as well not leave. If you owe, you just have to pay. This is Freedom March. God save the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. God save the people of Angleton, Mountain Heights. Let's get ready. All right, we're going to clear it and we're going to hold it. God save the King. We'll be right back after the break. It's powerful today. Welcome back to Freedom March. My name is Rodney Monker. Minister Wayne Monroe is going to remain with us. He's going to be our special guest. And in view of the fact that there's been an escalation in shooting, in murders, and rape, I've asked the minister if he would just stay with me until tomorrow. So he has assured me he's going to come tomorrow. But before I continue with my interview, I need to go to the United States, where there is a major campaign taking place. And as you would note, I am very intensive in getting Donald Trump elected. I want to thank a Bahamian woman who, after visiting the United States, she's one of the women there. She has bought from the campaign 2 new Donald Trump hats for me. So as you can see, this is a black Donald Trump hat. And I think this signifies my Negro leadership, my black leadership. So I want to thank Sister Seymour. And I want her to know that as the campaign draw nearer, I require her to go to the United States and try and bring me as many Donald Trump photographs, American flag, because I'm going to turn my house into the Bahamas branch of the MAGA movement. So I want to show you a video quickly out of the United States of America. It's so that you can see why we here in the Bahamas are continuing to support Donald Trump. Mr. President, let the people know what Donald Trump is promising.
On day one, I will sign an executive order banning schools from promoting critical race theory or transgender insanity. I will take historic action to defeat the toxic poison of gender ideology and reaffirm that God created 2 genders, male and female. I will keep men out of women's sports. I will sign a law banning child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. Won't happen anymore. And we will proudly say Merry Christmas again.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Fight, fight, fight. Trump, Trump, Trump. Fight, fight, fight. So folks, Donald Trump is leading, notwithstanding what you hear happening in the United States. No matter how they bad talking him, they're doing that because he's leading, okay? So I want Bahamians to rejoice. I want you to continue to campaign among the tourism market. There are millions of tourists coming, and we have been recruiting Americans. I want to thank the taxi drivers at Lyndon Pindling International Airport who greets the tourists there and has prophesied to them that by the 5th of November, we shall have a new world leader, a new president, Donald Trump. I also want to thank the taxi drivers who are working from Prince George Wharf. We must not allow the Americans to escape, okay? We're not playing racism, okay? A vote against Donald Trump is a vote in support of racism. We're voting for Trump. We're not playing that we're voting for women. Women is good, but we don't need a woman leader because we have to fight war. And I would shudder to see women being shot. Only men should be shot and not women, okay? This is powerful. Remember, fight, fight, fight. Trump, Trump, Trump. I thank you.
You covered the stuff from Manka.
What's that, Minister? We're winning, you know.
You know, you have tribes in South America where women are the warriors. But
Really?
you know how many genders there are in the Democrats' world?
Genders?
Yeah, 74.
Really?
Yeah.
Genders?
Yeah.
But
There's
is it-
male, female, and then 72 others.
Male, females, and 72 others. But
Yeah.
Donald Trump intends to stamp out to 72 others. This is powerful.
Well, he could try, but you see, Brother Monica,
Yes.
if somebody said they want to identify as a cat, what you can do?
Well, I don't think you should use cats because
Hey, remember when you identified my godchild,
Yes.
your cat as a man?
yeah,
And you identified the cat as a man, but it had kittens, eh?
no, that was a woman cat. This is powerful.
Well, what's the woman cat's name?
Huh?
That's Jeremiah?
No, Jeremiah is a male, but he ran away. I haven't seen him in months.
How come you didn't tell me that?
Yeah, Jeremiah ran away, but he left lots of children. Lots of children. So, Minister, once again I welcome you to Freedom March. So, a part of this initiative in clearing up communities and holding it, what impact you think it should have on crime, taking into consideration that there's been quite a number of deadly shooting in the Myrtle Heights area. I've not counted any video or CCTV. Is there any plans to ensure that Myrtle Heights and other parts of the island, CCTV?
Well, there are CCTV footage in and out, leaving and coming into Montel Heights. There will be plans of extending it within Montel Heights. There are requests for lighting
Okay.
in Montel Heights. There are requests for street signs in Montel Heights, because you know where Bow
I do.
is, but plenty of people might not.
That is true.
There will be a move to say, if you tell the young boy, stop selling dope, because they make less than minimum wage selling dope.
Okay.
If you think about it, and that's even before you have to make provision for your lawyer fee and all that in case you get
Right.
catch.
Right.
That's not even counting on running the risk of people shooting at you, all the rest of that, because
Yes.
you're selling drugs.
Right.
You can show them now, fine, you tell them don't do that.
Right.
Well, you have to now give them an alternative.
Yes.
And that's where you then engage them in programs like the one you produced to
Yes.
say, look, here is how you can have a little business. Here is how you run to make the business successful. That was the beauty of your program, that it spoke to people at a very simple level.
Yes.
No need to be sophisticated. No need to have big college degrees to engage with your program. People didn't know that about you. I don't know why you didn't sell it on your show here.
That is true.
But at the end of the day, you show young people how you can now move forward and make an honest living and go far.
As we go far and go forward, Minister, are we going to also approach the fact that there are some young people who have petty criminal records? If we're going to clear the community and hold the community, shouldn't we also work to give young people a second chance by ensuring and advising those who may have? I have this woman who has just contacted me, and her son has a petty criminal conviction, a very, very petty one. Nevertheless, it's there. And she has been frustrated, he has been frustrated. So a part of this initiative, we don't only want to clear the community, we want to clear the reputation and give young people
A second chance.
a second chance.
Well, the PLP is the party of second chances. We passed the Rehabilitation of Offenders Act.
Yes.
And we later amended it so that we cut down the time for convictions to come off. And we've recently done something again that will affect loads of people that might not know about, when we permitted the offense of possession with intent now to come off your record. Because in possession with intent never used to come off your record.
So there is an opportunity to remove that?
It comes off now like everything else
Really?
that's not listed in the schedule.
Okay.
But we put in the schedule now incest. Incest will never come off. So that you could understand that incest used to come off, but
Incest used to come off?
Yes, but
Really?
possession with intent didn't come off.
I want to ask you a hypothetical question. Since the issue of incest you've raised it, are you suggesting to me that two senior people who agreed to incest it can't come off?
Well,
I'm not talking about incest where an elderly person exploits a younger person. I'm talking about consensual.
how did the person end up convicted?
Well, I was under the opinion that
You need a witness and you need a complainant. So if you're consenting in this incest and you're an adult, who complained to the police? Somebody had to complain.
Well, can't a relative, if I have reason to suspect that two senior relatives of mine are involved in incest, I don't have a right to complain?
How are you going to say it?
Huh?
You catch them in flagrante delicto, you videotape them doing it? If not, where's your evidence
So
going to
when
be?
videotaping becomes evidence, I thought if I'm aware that a person has committed a crime, I need only testify.
No, but Brother Monka, what will happen is this. When the police pick up these two relatives, they will say, you're suspected of inquest. You don't have to say anything unless you care to. Whatever you say will be taken down and given in evidence against you. You think anyone could admit it?
Okay.
So now when the case comes to court, you really think it's going to go to court? So what we're really talking about is cases of incest that when you see what is reported,
Okay.
it is really when you're talking about persons taking advantage
Okay.
of circumstances. But I just made the point that possession with intent didn't come off. Burglary came off, but possession with intent didn't come off. It comes off now. And how it works, for that person's edification,
Yes.
if you were convicted in the magistrate's court, 5 years after you finish your punishment, the conviction comes off automatically.
Really?
Yeah. And that's including possession with intent now. If it's a conviction in the Supreme Court, 10 years after you finish your sentence, it comes off. And then there is a provision when it was amended the first time by the PLP. If you're a first-time offender or a young offender, after 2 years, you can apply, and the Rehabilitation of Offenders Committee can decide, yes, you should get it expunged early.
So what all can be expunged?
Just about everything I can tell you.
And can you tell members of the public what they would be required to do? Because I've had principally mothers who were concerned and wanted to know how to get their son's reputation clear.
Okay, here are the offenses that do not come off, Brother Monka, by the Act or through the Rehabilitation of Offenders Committee. Manslaughter, where you get a sentence of more than 5 years, does not come off automatically. Murder does not. Armed robbery does not. Treason does not. Rape does not. Unlawful carnal knowledge does not. Now you add to that incest and trafficking in persons.
What would
They do not come off.
What would be the difference between rape and unlawful carnal knowledge?
With rape, you actually have to prove lack of consent, but with unlawful carnal knowledge, which is having intercourse with a girl under a certain age with or without her consent, the prosecution doesn't have to prove consent.
Okay, gotcha.
But both do not come off.
Now, what should citizens do who are interested in having their character purged?
What happens is, after the period of time,
Yes.
if it's coming off automatically, when you go for a police record, it just will not appear there.
Oh, so no longer do you make an application?
You only make an application if you're seeking to get it expunged early, after 2 years. 2
Okay.
years has to pass since your punishment ended, then you could apply to have it expunged early.
Okay.
But if it's coming off anyway, you don't, and it's off anyway, you don't have to make any application. So we have some people who were convicted of possession with intent and came out of prison 30 years ago. They don't have to do anything for it to come off. When they go to get their criminal record, it should be no offense.
Really?
Yeah.
This is powerful. Okay, well, I'm happy that you are explaining it. So I want to just re-emphasize it. Your position is that the law says if a person has been convicted and they want their record to be expunged prematurely, before 2 years.
Before 5 years.
Before 5 years.
For summary offenses, and 10 years for indictable offenses.
They then would be compelled to make an application.
Application to the
But if they're comfortable to wait until the expiry date, then it's off automatically.
Yes.
Okay, this is great.
And if you want to apply early, there's a form. You have to be fingerprinted. You have to get your police record. You have to get 2 references. Rehabilitative Welfare Services will interview you. You will go to, before the Rehabilitation of Offenders Act, now chaired by Mr. Campbell. They will interview you. They will send me as minister a report to say you deserve a chance by having this expunged early. The one thing I forgot is the COVID things that your last government put on people.
Okay.
For going to the pump, selling coconut, they come off automatically.
Okay.
But I still have to sign it. But once you just send it in,
Okay.
we sign them off because it was.
Mr. Producer, put up the photograph of Dante. Is it Dante McPhee? Put that up so I may ask the minister a question about this young man. Minister, I hope your sight is very good. This is Dante McPhee. He's 18 years old. I met him today. He appears to be a part of a special training.
That looks like a National Youth Guard crest
Yes.
on his shirt. Yes.
I've never heard about the National Youth Guard. Dante is a wonderful citizen. So I want to salute him, Minister. Please tell me, what is this? Because he has alleged that he is being trained or is a part of something in the Defense Force. Did I understand it correctly?
Well, it's the National Youth Guard. It's under my ministry. If he is currently being trained, he's a part of the 3rd cohort.
Okay.
The first cohort was when the program was with the Ministry of Youth and Sport. The Defense Force, for the first period of it, they are on board HMBS Coral Harbor, where they get little discipline training, not as harsh as it is if you were a Marine recruit, but they still get some discipline training. They get training in a number of things, firefighting, and other elements. And the whole purpose of it is to prepare them in times of emergency to be, as it were, available and knowing what to do. That's what Dorian taught us, that you have to have people on site when the thing happens. And so, for instance, there was a youth guard who was involved in the firefighting in Andros.
Okay.
He was there. He knew what to do when it happened. I saw some talks about some of the youth guard, and they're from all over the Family Islands, who, when there was a hurricane in one of the islands, they were there to assist and knowing what to do, because they're trained by the Defense Force, who deals with the catastrophe response. And they get life training and training that equips them to be better equipped for the workforce. And then the second half of it, they do internships, and while they're doing it, they're paid a stipend.
Yes, so Dante McPhee, he was excited to tell me that he's a part of this group. Is this open to more young people?
Yes, it's open. I believe the age is 18 to, I want to say, either 25 or 35.
Yes.
But in the last cohort, what we found is there were some people who were finished school but not quite 18.
Okay.
And Captain Sonia Miller of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, she made a case to say, look, so long as we get parental permission, we keep them separate from adults, can we take these young people in?
Okay.
And we agreed. And so they're in now, they'll be trained. And what's interesting, Brother Monk, is in the second cohort, when some of them came in,
Yes.
the Defense Force was recruiting at the same time. They had the qualifications, and they went right from National Youth Guard training to Marine recruits.
This is
and
great.
then the second cohort, after they finished, there was one who was interested in being a correctional officer, and the B-Docs were taking in recruits. He went straight from Youth Guard graduate to B-Docs recruit, correctional officer recruit. And so you have that. And then we have HYPE in the primary schools.
Let me hear that.
HYPE is the program where we seek to intervene in the high schools, because you know you have murderers 15, 16.
Yes.
So you can't wait till junior high school.
Right.
Well, some of the HYPE graduates
Yes.
are assisting, some of the National Youth Guard graduates are assisting with HYPE.
Okay.
And then, you know, Let's Swim Bahamas, right? Andy and Nancy Knowles, that
Okay.
teaches primary school students how to swim.
Okay.
They're assisted by Defense Force, Marines who are trained to be teachers.
Yes.
Now you have, I think it's 3 to 5 Youth Guard graduates who are assisting with that.
How then, if there are other young people who are interested in this particular program, how do they become involved? What is the means by which they can enroll?
A recruitment effort will begin, and we will, there is social media sites for it, and they advertise it. Captain Sonia Miller, you'll see them in the radio, and then
Okay.
you just apply. You don't have to have any particular qualifications, you just have to have the correct outlook and mindset.
Right.
And once you put in your application, they will interview you. You have to do medicals because there are some strenuous parts of the training.
Right.
And we don't want to injure anybody or have anyone injure themselves.
Right. Right.
There is the need to pass vetting.
Yes.
And so...
What do we mean by vetting?
You can't be a rapist, a murderer, that type of thing,
Okay. Okay.
and be recruited.
Somebody
to
of
the
good
youth
character.
guard. Yes.
Okay. Does this also include females?
Yes.
So there are
Males and females.
and females.
Yes.
Okay.
You didn't see when the Prime Minister met them at BTVI where they were learning carpentry?
I may have overlooked that one.
Because, you know, the Prime Minister say he fancies himself a bit of a joiner, if not a carpenter.
This is powerful. I know he comes from a long line of people in the construction field.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, people would be surprised if they knew all the skills of our Prime Minister.
Yeah. Yeah, this is great. We could use them in urban renewal,
But that's
in the housing roof repair.
But that is why he has such a keen interest in some aspects of these things. Because when I saw him in the workshop at BTVI, you could tell that he was going back to the day when he had to learn how to do this. And
Yes.
yeah, and tell him, no, you can't do it like that. So I have no doubt at some point, Andy and Nancy know, so they want him in the pool for Let's Swim Bahamas because he used to be a swim coach.
Oh, this is powerful.
So these are the talents that a man has that informs what he knows can work with his people.
Minister, I want to take you to a murder that occurred today, perhaps shortly before noon, a side street off Cowpen Road called Ramsey Street. A man identified as Linwood Rule. He is reported to have been gunned down at his place of work, some scrap metal place, and just prior to that, I'm understanding that another fella was just killed opposite. So it appears that in the Cowpen Road area, there's been lots of reports of gunshot violence. Are there any strategy? Are we intensifying saturation patrol in that area, taking into consideration that Japanese vehicles seems to be the means by which they're successful in, committing this crime? What's going on as it relates to that?
Well, as I indicated when we came to office, we had a resource issue. And then you saw the Prime Minister answer the call quickly by bringing 100 patrol vehicles to the fight so that we could have saturation patrols.
Yes.
You've seen us recruiting aggressively police officers to make up the deficit, at least 125 every year. The police are now preparing to recruit, I think it's 200 additional officers.
Okay.
And so we're upping manpower and equipment to be able to intensify presence. The police operate on an intelligence-driven basis.
I think you should hold your thought for tomorrow. What are you doing tomorrow? You might as well come back and let's talk some more. There goes the bell.
Okay. So I'll come back tomorrow.
Okay. So the Minister of National Security, that's Wayne Monroe, he shall join me tomorrow. And then I will extend an invitation to the Shadow Minister of National Security, that's Shanador Cartwright. Let me hear what he thinks about the minister's plan. God save the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.